do we have, John? How many students so far?
Looks like there's 12 people in the room counting us. So there's 10 people watching and us. So
Okay,
12
cool.
people total now.
Okay.
And as more people come in, I'll be admitting them in. So I'm just watching it over here.
Okay, let me just tell Carmine, once you get your hair cut, man, you know, join us before your massage, you know, before the massage this afternoon. You know, come on, come on in the session.
This will probably take longer than your clinic.
Oh,
I'm getting rid of the gray hairs and putting in purple and black and all that crazy stuff.
Man,
You remember me.
yeah, but the dread is you were doing that 30 years ago, man. What happened, man?
I'm still doing it. Still doing it. I'm actually talking about not doing it anymore and just let myself go gray and then put purple on that.
Oh, man. Anyway, seriously, guys, you know, Carmine Appice and I go back a long, long way. And in my clinic today, I'm going to talk about the performances that Carmine and I did together at a club I had in LA in the 70s called the Cellar Theater.
Yeah, man.
Those are some of my favorite nights, Carmine, with you. And we had a ball. And I love your playing, of course. And I'm so honored to call you a friend for so many years.
Yeah, and you too.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Okay, well, we're going to start off. This is, first of all, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Les DeMerle practice pad. Hi, Janine. Good to see you. How are you? I see my student, Mike Sofrenic, is up there. Hi, Mike.
Hey guys.
How are you?
Good.
Doing good, doing good. It's nice not to have to wear masks in a gathering like this, right?
Mike is one of my students, guys, who comes over about every other week to my studio right here. And, you know, we're still playing it real safe. So when I do private lessons, hey, Mike Hansen, when I'm giving private lessons, we wear the mask most of the time unless we're really social distanced, you know. I mean, unless I'm working with a drum set that's 8 feet away. Another one of my students, guys, just jumped on. His name is Mike Hansen. I haven't seen Mike since the NAMM show. How are you, Mike?
Hey guys. Hey Carmine. What's up,
Hey,
buddy?
dude. How you doing, bro?
All right, man. Just freezing in Chicago.
Hey, Les, where are you now?
I'm in Amelia Island, Florida, guys. If you don't know, this is North Florida near Jacksonville, you know. And
I'm in Florida, too.
where are you, Carmine?
I'm down south near West Palm Beach.
Oh, man, well, we have to get together. I'll talk about that
man.
later. But we came to, after Mike Hansen and I, we know each other in Chicago when I was teaching at Roselle Music. I think that's
man.
and
Yeah, old Lyle.
right.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, Mike, real quick. We did a clinic in 1990. It was one of these drum set spectaculars that I did, where it was a clinic, and we had 6 drummers, and you played on that.
Yeah.
And just this past week, I found a DVD, actually a VHS tape of it that I had converted to a DVD. I've been telling John Gill about it. It's you're playing, and so many other guys like Pat Duty and all these great Chicago drummers that I had as my students were playing at a level. I mean, you're playing at an incredible level now. But even at that time, this is 1990, you guys were playing some stuff, man. All the concepts I was showing you, like over-the-bar phrasing and the technique, licks and all that, all comes out on this video. So I'm gonna be sending you one of those, Mike. Okay, so we have to give me your address, and I'll send you a hard copy of that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So to start out, guys, we're going to keep this to an hour. The reason I'm doing it today, as you know, is I'm trying to, like everyone else, try to get more students involved in drumming, and I want to do more Zoom lessons. So I'm looking to expand my audience, and I thought, let's do a free clinic. I'll get old friends to tune in, and maybe I'll make some new friends and new fans. So number one, I'm going to start out with just some of the techniques that I use to practice. When I warm up, I'm using a new drum today. It's called an AE drum. So it's actually a practice pad, but it's got like that little snare drum sound, if you can hear that. You see, it's got a snare drum sound. It's got a great response. It's got really good response, and it's also actually a 2-headed drum. The other side is. It's like a, like a bongo kind of sound. It's something I started to play at the Chicago Drum Show about a few years ago when I was doing clinics, and Rob Cook said the volume is always heavy when you get 2 or 3 guys over there on snare drums. So there's a new product, AE drum. So I got one of these, and now I'm endorsing it, and I really think it's cool. So I'm going to start out by, when I practice, I'm going to be playing all the rudiments, and then we'll go to the sheet that John Gill sent out. But when I practice, in order to make it fun, I usually come up with a rhythm, like a clave rhythm, or just maybe a New Orleans style rhythm to start with, so that the rudiments not only are going to be military-like, but they're also going to swing. So this is a big concept, a big thing about my concept. So if I take a rhythm very simple, like
Oh, man.
back to the theme. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
Who just joined us there? I just saw a new player jump on. Anyway, so you see what I did with that one, guys? I just kind of used a rhythm that was a fun rhythm. Hi, Lawrence, I see you there now. And take it and do something with it, you know. A lot of times what I do with warming up is, you know, so many teachers just teach the basic rudiments. So where you single paradiddle over and over and over and over, you know. But everything that I play with rudiments, I'm always thinking about how I'm going to play this on the set. So I don't want to put them in a box all the time. You know what I mean? So that a lot of that I learned basically being a jazz musician. The first time I heard guys in person, like when I went to Birdland at 16 years old, and I sat about 4 feet from Art Blakey, and then I saw that ferocious press roll, bam, you know, and the band would come in like on one of those tunes like Blues March or something like that. And then he would get to his solos. And, you know, if you know Art Blakey's playing, he's not the type of drummer like a Buddy Rich or a Louis Bellson. Or if you probably went up to Blakey and said, man, did you play a Radamik in bar 5? He would say, what is that? What are you talking about, Radamik? You know? But he did play all of that. You know, he played all of that and more, you know. But they couldn't tell you. But you could absorb it, you know. And in that period of time, I would always have a cocktail napkin with me and a ballpoint pen. And the minute I heard a lick that I liked from either Art Blakey or Tony Williams or Sonny Payne or Birdland with Basie, I'd write it down on the cocktail napkin because my teacher, Bob Livingston, he put me through all the books when I was like 12, 13 years old. I was going through Stick Control, Ted Reed's book, Morris Goldenberg book, Modern School for the Snare Drum, you know, or the Haskell Harp, all of that stuff I had been into before I was 19 years old. I went through all of that. So now I wanted to find out how the real the jazz musicians who were improvising were using techniques that we have, you know. So what I did in this, not to get fancy on anyone, but I was using some finger technique there. You could probably see multiple notes at one point. And in the first demonstration that I had John Gill sent out, by the way, I want to thank John Gill and Janine Fox for helping me put all this together. You guys are the best. Thank you. You all have that one that says paradiddle warm-up combinations? I think.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yep.
So this is like, you know, I might have played some of this in what I just improvised. Now, that first one, what I'll do is I'll just play the first one, and then I'll give you all a second to just play it if you have to play it. Okay? So the very first one is a paradiddle for 3 beats, and then it's got 4 lefts. So it's going to be
A lot of growth.
it's going to let you lift in 3 like that.
6 to 7 weeks.
So do you see that? Right. Okay, and then that's going to lead into the next bar, which is the first beat of the second bar, and that's a left. So actually, you got 5 lefts in a row. 5 lefts in a row, and that's going to go to the end of that bar, and then you'll turn that around. You'll have 5 right. So slow it would be. John?
Yeah, I can hear you, Les. I'd like to ask everybody to please mute your microphone when Les is demonstrating, please. I'm just going to mute everybody. Yeah, so sorry about this, guys, but.
Yeah. Much better. Yeah, that's much better. I was hearing a lot of room distraction. Can everybody still hear me okay?
Yeah, just a second here. Let's go here for a second.
I think Les is muted right now as well.
Yeah, I'm going to just like get everybody back in there. Here we go. Okay. Man, this is like.
John, I think Les has to unmute himself from his
Yeah.
end. I don't think you have the ability to do it from your end.
Yeah, let's unmute yourself, okay? Okay, we got you back.
Got
Good.
better?
Yeah, we got you.
Thanks for the tip. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So now that with that first line, would everybody want to try to play that first line and just see how you feel with it? Just the first line only. Just the first line only. I don't know if you want to do it individually or go ahead. Yeah. And then the thing is, John, when you play it, repeat it, you know, even though there's no repeat signs there, because that way you get those 5s happening. Mike, do you have a practice pad with you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Who's out there with a practice pad that can play it? Okay. How about Mike Safranek? Let me go Mike, and then we'll go Lawrence. Mike, can you play that one?
All right.
That first line, buddy. Okay, I think that you might have could you guys hear Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool, Mike. Okay, Lawrence Rizzo, how about if you try that, buddy?
All right, I'll give it a shot. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yep.
hear you.
All right, we're gonna go across the first line, right?
Yeah, just the first one. Perfect. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah,
Okay. Were you able to hear the whole thing?
absolutely. Yeah. And see,
Okay.
what you're doing, Lawrence, you're doing a lot of the same techniques that I'm doing, where he's using the bounce. If you noticed in that demonstration, where he's going, and what you're doing is you're closing on your last note, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good. Excellent. Very good. Very good. Okay. Is there another drummer that would like to try that? I see there's an Ivan up there. Would you like to try that one?
Yeah, sure. I just was looking for an unmute button.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. All right. Cool. Okay. Well, you guys can see that exercise is basically going to go right down the page, and what happens is the fours come in to focus more often as the line develops. So the second line is right, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. You see, it's the same kind of thing. So you're developing your fours. And a lot of times, like when I did that warm up before, if I'm playing, like, say, a jazz thing like about here, then what I'll do is I'll go into threes or fours, like that. And so this exercise is going to develop that. Now the third line is right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right. So there's a lot of multiple notes in that figure. Would everybody like to take a second and try that one? Try the second one first, the second line first. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. All right. All right. All right. So basically, guys, that exercise will just run itself down, and that's like something that I like to use every day as a warm up. And again, depending on your skill and your speed, take it real slow in the beginning, and then eventually build it up. Build it up to where you feel is comfortable. And I do recommend, if you have a click or a metronome, maybe keep a track of your tempo and try to increase it every time you play. Just bring it up a notch. So I'm going to skip now down to the second form that I'm using here, and that is the Swiss triplet. Does everybody see that in the middle of the page, the Swiss triplet? So these are left-hand Swiss triplets that I started to do years ago when I was with the Harry James Band, where I replaced Buddy Rich. I would do things on the set that would sound like this. And that would be a really cool setup for the band. So if you're playing a swing tune, ba ba da do ba, sha ba 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 do ba, we da nigga. It's one of those you can really rip. Now, if you make it as a rudiment, which it is a rudiment, of course, and play it as a 2-bar phrase, that would be like this. Like that. Can everybody hear that okay out there?
Yeah, sounds fine.
Okay, good, good. Does anybody have any questions so far about these rudiments? I could take a few questions right here if you have.
There was a question about tempo, Les, for the 16th notes one that you were doing. What should they try to work up to?
That's a good question. I would say, like, I think with the quarter note being about right here, where's that? Like that. And then, if you can get it faster than that, that's cool too. But the idea is not to play them as fast as you can, is to play them as clean as you can, so that they're always accurate. So, I'm not sure exactly where that is on the quarter note, but you could probably put it into there. That answer the question?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
You guys, what they do, they're putting questions in the chat here.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And that one came from Lawrence Rizzo to everyone.
Hey, Lawrence.
And
yeah.
Yeah, and then Ivan said at 1:30 is what he put down there as well. So
That's right. That's about right. Yeah, that's where I was playing it. Right. That's cool. Yeah. And of course, you could elevate it from there, and you could have to slow it down if you need to. I wouldn't start at 1:30. You have to learn these first.
You guys, what you guys can do is, like, if you have a question for Les, unmute yourself. I can't do that for you, but you can unmute yourself and then ask the question and then come back in. Okay. And we'd like everybody also to make sure your phones are on silent, please. Thank you.
Let me bring two of mine is.
Can I have a question? You're doing accents on the flames right now. Is it possible to do like in a swing filling accents, not on the flam, but somewhere else?
Oh, absolutely. Sure. But, if I were going to do that, Ivan, I would write it that way, with accents. And I have, I don't know if you ever saw my book, Jazz Rock Fusion Volume 2. They're published by Hal Leonard. And in that book, there's a lot of exercises that have to do with playing Swiss triplets, but they're having the accents on other notes, So if you could check that out, that's really cool. Yeah. And the one on the bottom of the page there is kind of like it's a condensed version of the first of the bars we just played. So beside this. So now what's going to happen at the very bottom of the page is going to be like that. So the flams are going to be closer together. Like that. Yeah. So that's and these are so. In a minute, I'll get on the drum set, and you'll see that these all flow very easily. Once you get them down. And the cool thing on the set is, again, with these flams, when you have a left-hand flam and you're going, so then you can get right to your ride cymbal with the right hand. And then right into the ride beat or a rock beat or whatever you're playing in the groove of the music. Yeah. All right. Any other questions about these, about this kind of technique right now? Any other questions? And I
guess we're all good.
All right. Now the next thing I'd like to do, guys, is actually play a little bit with brushes, because one of the things today that a lot of drummers are asking, and it's kind of like, in a way, something that's not as popular as it used to be, but to play brushes is like a really beautiful thing. Hi, Bobby. Bobby just joined us up there. Yeah, cool. So basically, when I play brushes, jazz brushes, I first learned to play like a figure S, like this kind of motion. So if I were playing a ballad like ba-da, do-do-dee-da, do-dee-da, something like that. So see, I'm using a very kind of a graceful, just quarter note. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now on that one, I did a little fast, double time left hand to give it a little bit more personality, more color. So I go 1, 2, and 3, 4. 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 Now, when I'm playing a more, say, up tempo, actually I have a track. I don't know if this will work, John, but I'm going to try to play something along with the track. It's actually one of my recordings that we did live in Hilton Head at the Jazz Corner. And I thought, let me try this, because that way you could hear the brushes within the concept of a jazz trio. May I try this?
It sounded fine last night, so it should be good.
Okay. That's not it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hilton Head Island's premier jazz club, the Jazz Corner. Please welcome to the stage Origin Records recording artist, the dynamic Les DeMerle Band, featuring Bonnie Iso.
The volume okay? felt like I was in a nightclub here, right in the middle of the drum clinic.
Sounded great.
Thank you. You know, it was funny when I first started to do clinics, guys. It was in the 70s when I was with Pearl Drums, and I'd be on the road doing one-nighters with Harry James's band. We did as many as 300 one-nighters a year, and it was done in a Greyhound bus. You know, just like Buddy's band and Woody Herman and Count Basie and Duke Ellington and Maynard Ferguson. And when I got with Pearl Drums, I asked the guy, the main man was Walt Johnson, if he could book clinics in the same towns that I was in with the Harry James band that night. So our bus would get into town around 2 in the afternoon, and I would run to, say, if I was in Chicago, I would do one at Frank's Drum Shop. If I was in New York, I might do one at Manny's or the Long Island Drum Center. Seattle, Keith Purvis's music store, the Guitar Center in San Francisco. And I'd always bring a trio or a quartet from Harry's band with me, and we'd play these kind of tunes like Straight Ahead, and you know, demonstrate brushes and mallets and chops, of course, and all that. But that's what it kind of feels like now to play jazz. You know, instead of playing to like a pre-recorded drum track, that was actually a live recording that I did at the jazz club called the Jazz Corner in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And so I was playing along with myself, you know. But hopefully, I don't know how it sounded. I hope the volumes were kind of okay. But in the future, we're going to get this down much to a science, to where the audio that I'll use during clinics and teaching will be, you know, of that level. But right now, I'm just doing it with what I've got to work with here in my little studio. Cool.
Sounded great, Les.
Thank you. Any questions about that, guys, about the brushes and everything so far?
I got a question, Les.
Yeah.
How you doing? And thank you so much for being here with us today. When you play brushes, do you keep the snare wires on or turn them off? I know some guys, you know, prefer different ways.
That's a good question, Bobby. For this, what I just did, they were off because, you know, you still had the sound of the head. But a lot of times what I'll do personally is I use the Clayton Cameron brushes, you know, and because they've got the hard back, you know, when I do that, I'll always have the snares on, especially during up-tempo tunes, because I play the, you know, the Clayton Cameron brushes, I can do things. So that way I can really get the sound, or I could even go right back to the... You know, you can do all sorts of great things like that, you know. So I usually have the snares on. Now, of course, we all know if you're a professional player, and I'm sure most of you guys are, if not all of you, what happens a lot, especially in small rooms, that the bass is real close to you during a ballad. The resonance from his notes are going to make the snare drum, if the snares are on, it'll, you know, vibrate in a way that it could be very distracting to a vocalist or a sensitive piece of music. So if it's that kind of thing, then I'll put the snares off and just like really back off so that we don't have that rattle happening, you know.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you. Great question. Thank you. Okay. Any questions, Larry Rizzo or Mike Safranek?
No, I thought that was a good question about the snares, Les. I had that, you know, snares on or off. I had that question too. That was a good question. Thanks for asking that, Bobby.
Yeah. And Mike, Mike, by the way, is one of my students here, guys, on Amelia Island, and he's playing right now with the community band. And he's, when we have our lessons, he brings his music over to my little studio here, and we're gonna analyze in the next lesson, Mike, the new music that you're working on with Mark's band, and so that's the ideal is to either do a one-on-one with lessons, you know, either in person or nowadays with the pandemic with Zoom, you know, because that way I can focus on everyone's needs, you know, as a teacher. And I'm sure you guys that are teachers out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about, you know. But thanks, Mike, for that question. Thank you, Bobby, for bringing that up. That's a good one. Okay. Any other questions about the brushes, guys? Or about anything at this point?
Hey, Les, I've got a question for you. So I noticed that you use a, a traditional grip, particularly with the brushes. And I know there's a lot of drummers that are using match grip. Any tips for people that were kind of grew up with, like myself, with traditional grip to help develop their left hand, or if they're left-handed, their right hand with match grip?
Oh, the way I look at it with match grip, because I play, like say 75%, 80% of the time traditional grip, but when I'm doing things like on the kit, and I will get back on the kit in a minute, I'll play, like if I'm playing rock, of course I'll play match, match, and either want to, that type of grip right down, or like with the butt end of the stick, or with this stick, and everything I do with the right hand, like all these exercises I showed before. Let me go back to the pad because the snare drum might be too loud to show this, but all of these exercises, like we're playing, the rudiments, I'm doing everything now match grip. I'm more comfortable personally playing traditional grip. But
right.
every one of the exercises that I do that are left-hand builders, that are traditional, like, you can do all of that with left-hand match grip, just like match grip players. The match grip players probably saying, how do you do it this way? The traditional players are saying, how do you do it the other way? But when I play, and I just kind of will go to match grip when I feel it's right. Like in the 70s, I was playing a lot of really heavy, loud fusion music, and I had to play match to be heard, over the volume that we used to play in that period of time, But then again, when we get to jazz sections, I would turn it around and get right down into the bebop sound, the classic jazz sound.
All right, thanks. Appreciate that.
So all the rudiments, if you're a traditional player, all the rudiments that you play, it's kind of fun to do, do maybe 4 bars of your paradiddle, say, and then go right to match, and try and see if you can match the volume and the intensity of what you've got going with your chops, to play both. And then the cool thing is you have 2 ways that you can play on the kit, The one advantage as a jazz musician, I teach this a lot. If I'm on the kit and I'm playing around the kit, I like a line that's got a lot of technique. I'll just take a simple line like 1 ender, 2 ender, 3 ender, 4 ender. If I'm playing there with my left hand in traditional grip,
Hey, Les, can you bring the volume down, please?
Yeah, I didn't do that. Yeah. Okay, but before I do that, John, let me bring it down first. I should have done that before. Just 1 second, guys. Okay, let's see if this works. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it getting that distorted sound, or is it pretty?
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
So my point is with this, guys, is that when I'm playing a line like that, because I'm playing traditional, I'm able to cover all 4 drums right here. Now, if I'm trying to play that match grip, I'm going to have to cross my body a little bit more. So that's the advantage I feel of playing jazz with traditional grip in a way. You know what I mean? Because you can, I find it a little easier to cover on some of the lines that I play with the positioning of that left-hand stick. Okay. Are there any questions about that so far?
Thanks, Les.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions from any of the guys?
Not yet. No.
Okay. Can you hear me okay, John?
It's a little low, Les. You're gonna have to come back up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. Let me bring it up a little bit. Okay, is that better, guys?
That's better. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
So-
that's good. That's good, Les.
Okay. So, real quick, I just wanted to say, if with that concept, either the brushes or the demonstration that I just did, are there any questions about that I can help anyone with? Oh, Kevin Gazera is on now. Hey, Kevin. Wow.
How you doing, Les?
Good. I'm fine. Thanks. Great to see you, my man. Great.
Yeah. I'm always good to learn from you. Right. So yeah, so you answered my last question, which was about the match grip. So I'm all good.
Okay. Well, guys, I want to introduce you to Kevin and just tell you a little bit about our history. Kevin Gazera had a company, still probably had called M&K Productions in the day, and he did my video along with Paul Wertico. Paul did one. I think Paul did his first, didn't he, Kevin?
He did, yes.
And I did the second one, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, and we shot these in Chicago while I was there with my band. I put a band together. The LA band Transfusion stayed in LA when I moved to Chicago, but I organized a really hot band in Chicago, again, calling it the Les DeMerle Transfusion. So again, like we were talking about earlier, it was an opportunity to not only do a drum clinic, but I used my band on these 2 videotapes that Kevin produced. And I've just got these out the other night to watch them, and I was blown away with what we did, Kevin, and even the production. And I think we had 3 or 4 camera shoot going. And,
Right. And it was what, about 30 years ago that we did them.
yeah, it's amazing. And I want to see if we can work out something with Modern Drummer to see if we can maybe get those out, because there's really valid playing on those. And a lot of those subjects, by the way, as far as jazz rock fusion and actually playing with a band, those are certain subjects that I feel aren't exposed that much today. So I think there might be a market for that, you know. And so we have to talk about that. And so great to be back in touch with you, my man.
Yeah. Glad as well. So thanks for the tips.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, guys. So in reference to the brushwork, or to you know, the concept that I just talked about with getting around the kit with the left hand, are there any other questions about that before I show you? Go into the next demonstration.
I guess we're all good, Les.
Okay.
Hey, Les,
Yeah.
I got one for you. Why don't you show the guys your technique using 1 stick and 1 brush, and how you do combinations with that?
Oh, okay. Okay. That's a good one, Mike. Okay. I think what I'll do, Mike, while the levels are here, I'll do it out here on the snare drum, and then I'll turn my volumes around and I'll go back on the kit. Let me see if I can grab a hi-hat too. I'm gonna use a hi-hat for this demonstration too. Is that something, Mike, when we worked together and you were studying with me, that was one of the things that we worked on a lot, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, with the stick and the brush, when I basically teach it, and I'm sure if you guys are teachers out there, you know, you want to know that the student can play some coordination with the right and left hand. So I basically start it with the bossa nova. So if I'm doing the stick and the brush, like, like things like that. So it's almost like playing congas. You know, what I'm doing is when I'm playing a clave on the left hand, I'm leaving out the right hand. So the right hand is not constantly not doing that. And the cool thing about this is when you get into samba, because you know a lot of the things that I'll do with my band are tempos like this: 1, 2, 3. So if you're playing, you're up there and you're really cooking. Now, when you do the stick and the brush routine, that's going to be like. Yeah. Yeah. So that's, yes. And that you know, that stuff comes alive. And I love that, Mike, because it makes you feel like it's almost like you don't think like a drummer, you're thinking like a percussionist, you know. That's the way I look at it. It opens up my whole brain to say, okay, I hear this and like maybe some hi-hat in there, you know. Sometimes I'll just take the same rhythms and put the left hand on the hat, you know, which a lot of it is like the kind of like New Orleans subdivisions, you know, like things like. You know, stuff like that. But then somehow that'll cross over into the Latin, like the samba or batucada or the Mozambique, you know, all of those. And I just kind of mix them all up, you know. So that, but it really starts like we did probably, Mike, in your very early lessons when you were 2 years old, you know.
True.
You know, we started out, I'm sure, like, then you get, of course, you get the bass drum, boom, chicka gong, chicka gong, chicka gong. Now you really got, you sound like an orchestra if you do that right, and you have good tuning on your kits, you know. So it really becomes very musical, and that's what I strive to in everything I do. I don't want it ever to sound like I'm playing like I'm reading from a drum book. I want to play music more than I do drum rudiments, you know. But we use rudiments in everything we do. So, but I don't think, you know, ever that I'm just, oh man, I'll play a paradiddle here, I'll play a flam or a rattamaqueue. It just has to flow out of you, you know. No matter what kind of music you're playing, you're a sponge, you know, and we absorb everything we learn from all the people that influence us, and then somehow it comes through a funnel and it becomes us. It becomes you. We're all individual, beautiful players, and everybody can learn from everybody. And that's if you have that attitude, you can never stop learning because there's no end to it. And I'm sure that's how the greatest the guys that we admire, the Buddies and the Louis and Morellos and, you know, Carmine Appices and they all, you know, that's it. You just keep going. Famularo the same way, you know. Dom, always looking for that next challenge, a beat that he doesn't know, you know, and that's what keeps our passion going, you know, and that's what keeps us striving to be the best we can. That's very, very important. Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
Les.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm having a ball hanging out with you.
Me too. It's so nice.
Yeah, I see,
Bring it
Les,
back
I
old
see
memories.
David just joined us. David Akim.
Oh, David. Where's Dave? Hey, Dave, how are you doing, Dave? Can you hear me, Dave?
Dave, you're gonna have to unmute your mic, please.
I hear you guys great. I'm loving it.
Oh man. Well, let me tell you about. May I introduce you guys to Dave Hakim?
Oh gosh, it's okay.
No. This past I'd say maybe about two years ago, I reunited with my dear friend David Frangione, who is now the owner and publisher of Modern Drummer. And David was a student of mine in Boston, probably in the late 70s and all through the 80s. So whenever I'd play through Boston, he would take lessons. And now he's the main man at Modern Drummer, right? So a few weeks ago, as you all know, there was a great Neil Peart tribute that Modern Drummer produced. And I was honored to be asked to play on that. And Dave Hakim was the main man that I just met him on some Zoom sessions. I don't think we've met in person, Dave, but he worked very closely with me on many things, including trying to get my older and new drum books back into better circulation. So Modern Drummer and I, with David Hakim and Dave Franchione, were working on that. We might be able to bring the whole Les DeMerle library up to speed here, doing things like online lessons and a series of new books, actually. And then I have another project, Dave, that I'll talk to you about later. We just found some really cool stuff that I'd like to see if we might be able to work with you, something out with Modern Drummer with that music too.
Great.
So what a pleasure to have you join us today, Dave.
Thank you.
I know how busy you are. I really appreciate it.
No, it's okay. I had my friend join you earlier, Carmine Apiece.
Oh,
So
yeah.
He was watching you for a while, and then he called me, and then he said, okay, I'm giving it back to you. So I took the log on and came on.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something about.
He said, wow, he got less, man. His hands, he's amazing. He was just writing me about you.
Hey, let me tell you something about Carmine. Everybody that's in on this session today is free. It's all free. But Carmine, I want you to send him a bill for $50.
Pay for that haircut.
Right. Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you, Bonnie just jumped in the action here.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hey, Bonnie.
Hey, Bonnie.
No, sit here. You won't see this.
Hi, everybody.
See, you're up in the corner. So this is Mike Hansen.
Hi, Bonnie.
Dave Hakim, Kevin Gazzara.
Kevin.
Hey, Bonnie, nice to see you.
Mike Safran.
Hi, Mike.
And there's a whole
Hi.
bunch of other guys you can't see, but
Hi, everybody.
they're all there.
Hi,
Hey,
Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Everybody's in France. Bonjour. Guten Tag.
Oh, look at Dave Hakim, that's from Modern Drummer. He's got the dog up there.
Oh,
Look at
hi,
that.
dog. The doggy drummer.
Okay, let me get back to business. Bonnie
Yeah,
just wanted
great
to
to
pop
see
in.
you.
Bonnie.
All right,
Hi,
Bonnie.
Have a good one.
Nice seeing you,
Bonnie.
Bonnie.
As Les always says, keep the groove.
We're keeping busy.
All right. Okay, so now, but that's kind of like the story of, how this all comes about for me, guys. So, I've been doing it a long time, and I'm going to keep doing it until I get it right, And I'm doing it every day and with a passion. And now it's with the pandemic, I'll tell you, it's a trip because, hardly anybody is working. So we're working. We just did our jazz festival, which had me really working. We did it virtually this year, and our numbers last weekend were 2,000 people plus every night that tuned in with a virtual Zoom session that we did, from a local, actually it was a bookstore that had an upstairs area that we converted into a studio. So we put it out to the world that way. All my headliners, like John Pizzarelli from New York, the great jazz guitarist, they're all rebooked for next year. And it's going to be the first week in October next year. And it's a full 8 days of jazz that we've been doing for 17 years now. It's Amelia Island Jazz Festival. And we're a not-for-profit organization that give out scholarships to high school musicians to study jazz in college. So we have 4 kids in college now, and they're like Bonnie and I don't have children, but those are like our kids. We keep their tabs on them and their grades, and as long as they keep the grades stay straight, then they get a really a decent hunk of money every year to keep staying in school, and we support them financially. So that's a mission of ours that we feel we're paying it forward, and there's no greater feeling than that,
Nice.
Yeah, Mike Safranek, one of my students who's here today, has not only been at the Jazz Festival for several years, but he's also a volunteer. So, there's a million details that go into running a jazz festival. And when it comes that time of the year, he makes the volunteer meetings, and he helps immensely. So Mike, thank you for that, buddy.
Sure, sure. So you had some international audience this year then, huh? By doing it virtually, you were able to get people from overseas, or?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it was wild because when you do it virtually, of course, the world is open to you, just like the Modern Drummer Festival. I mean, when they did that Neil Peart tribute, I heard that the numbers, right, Dave, were off the charts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
If Modern Drummer would have had that, just say at Carnegie Hall, even, just big venue like that, they'd probably reach more people doing it virtually, because everybody can tune in, and not only that, of course, but they could watch it for many weeks or a month later or so, so that it's like almost like owning a DVD of that performance.
Les, we had hundreds of thousands of people watching, and hundreds of people still a day from now through December 11 continue to watch it. It's really incredible.
Congratulations on that, Dave.
Well, I think it's the way it is.
Yeah, that was well done. Well done,
thank
Dave.
you, guys.
Excellent.
Thank you all.
I enjoyed it.
Great, man.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I got to tell you, when I was first asked to do it, I did my bit, Dave, right here in my studio,
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, man, they're probably going to put me on behind Cindy Blackman, who's going to be in this mansion in San Francisco, with like a 12 camera shoot and all this. And my little drum studio here, Bonnie actually did it on our cell phone. Do you believe it? Just on a cell phone.
You were great.
Yeah.
But it was all done just like that, and it came off. The sound was pretty.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh man, I was honored. I was really honored. Thank you.
Oh, our pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if there are, I'll do a few more examples, guys, of some things, and then before we say so long. But first of all, I want to say that I'm really having a ball today, and I plan to do more of these.
Great.
So if you enjoyed it, maybe, please go to my Facebook fan page and make a comment about it. I think John Gill is going to get a screenshot of it, so it'll show you all up on the screen. And, we all have a history, and many of us have a history. My new friends that we just joined and I met today, I thank you for joining us. And there's still going to be some more drumming, so don't leave yet. But if you'd like to make a comment, we'd appreciate that. And I am available, again, for more than ever now because of the pandemic, for private drum lessons. And I'm doing this with Zoom lessons, or if you're on Amelia Island, I am taking certain students at my studio here. So that to make a reservation or to schedule a lesson, just either go to my website, lesdemerle.com, or ldmm@bellsouth.net is my email. Or you can reach me on Facebook, Les DeMerle fan page. Okay, well, I'm gonna work on. I'll show you just a few excerpts that I sent out that you have music to. One of them I'll do down here before I go back to the kit. I use a lot. Still use the Ted Reed book. Does anybody get a hand raise out there? Do you still have the Ted Reed book? Okay, so the Ted Reed book, on page 46, if you'll notice, that's like a rudimental solo, and it's different from any page in the book. And the reason it is Ted Reed, who is a dear friend of mine, told me right here in the studio when he would come over, he used to say, you know what 46 is? And I'd say, I know, I've heard a lot of these licks before. And this is actually a Buddy Rich solo, transcribed. No, he doesn't get credit for that. It was just something that Ted liked a lot. So he transcribed this Buddy Rich solo. Now, from a reading point of view, this is a pretty high level reading challenge in a way. You don't really, unless you're a classical musician, you probably wouldn't see a page this busy in a drum chart, like in a jazz chart. But what the cool thing is, knowing that it was Buddy's rhythms, I kind of analyzed it and played it slow first, and then I work on it with my students to where we get it to swing. And by doing that, I'll put the hi-hat on 2 and 4, so it'll be like. Can you all hear that?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'll take it about that tempo. First, I'll play it slower, just so you can follow all the little nuances in this chart. But this is really a cool exercise. And when I work with students at, say, the intermediate level, they're going to hear things like if it's too challenging for them at first, we'll take only 4 bars of this, like the first 4 bars, and we'll loop that over and over until the feel is right there, so where it's right in the pocket. So I'll show you the way I would teach it to an intermediate student. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the first 4 bars, right? And you can see it swings. It's not like, if you're reading the page prior to this, it's going to be like, it's very up and down. Although when I teach those, I also teach them to play it with the triplet feel. So something like that would be, like that. That's a whole other story. But getting back to this, I'll play the whole page at that tempo, and then I'll bring it up a little bit, and you'll see where that's, oh yeah, that's definitely Buddy, okay? So here we go. 1 from top to bottom. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you. So now, that's the kind of page that when on the new book that I'm working on, Dave, there's going to be a lot of this kind of thing, a little simpler than that for the high school level musician,
Yes.
But the thing is, this is music, it doesn't put them in the box of just playing. This is going to be like this again. Just that first 4 bars. Now when Buddy played it, it was on an album called "Rich in Miami." By the way, that's the album it came from, and he played it about. And you can hear Buddy. That's it. In that first few bars, you hear all those variations. When you hear it at that tempo, eventually, if you work that whole page at that, you're going to say, oh man, that's it. That's the key to the door. That's going to open up the whole, jazz concept coming basically from the snare drum. But then again, all of these licks, when you get on the kit, you could do all sorts of creative things with it, that's up to you. There's a million ways you could play one page like that. So that's a reading exercise that is one of my favorites that I hope if you like that, maybe check it out. Now, to finish up today, I'll play a few things on the set. I'm going to have to turn the volume down again. Just give me a second. Okay. Now you probably can you guys hear me now?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. What I'm going to do is if you do have the music that John Gill sent out, I'm going to play in my first book, Jazz Rock Fusion. I'll play a few excerpts from page 1, just to show you the concepts of how I use this book now to teach, and then I'm going to jump to where it says. On that title, by the way, guys, it says quarter ride rock studies coordination exercises. And then on the second thing I'll play, which will be is a concept I use where I play phrase in one time signature with my left hand while I'm playing in a different time signature with my right hand. So in this one is called 3-beat phrasing under the jazz ride in 4. You see that? 3-beat phrasing under the jazz ride in 4. Now, when you hear this, I personally, when I did this, I was thinking to myself, I hear like Elvin Jones kind of concept. So if you're aware of how Elvin Jones played, especially with John Coltrane, you'll hear that there are certain kind of undercurrents that happen that he used a lot. Because to me, when he was playing, I could always hear like a quarter note triplet thing against what he was playing. And it was broken up in a way to where it sounded very polyrhythmical. But when you really break it down, it was pretty straight ahead. You know, of course, it had to do with the way that he laid back or got on top of the beat and caught up to himself and all that. But you'll hear that in these 2 examples. So I'm going to turn my vocal mic down for this. I'm going to go back and I'll play a few excerpts from both, and then I'll come back and talk about it. Okay, so here we go. I'll start with the jazz rock fusion work, which is quarter note rock studies coordination exercises. I'm also going to play this with a quarter note the way it's written, and then I might go into an 8th note ride and then a 16th note ride so that you can see how these rhythms will work in any of those kind of fields. Be right back. Jazz ride beat under the 3, under the jazz ride in 4. Improvise a little bit to finish up, guys.
That was hot.
All right.
To get my levels up here. All right. All right. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can hear you, Les, yeah.
All right. So that's just a little bit of the music that I've written through the years, and some of the concepts that I always teach and work on. I always try to challenge myself by writing things that are unique. And from my students, like the best example on screen right now is Mike Hansen, who went through all of this, a lot of these concepts with me. And Mike, tell everybody what you're doing now, man, and how our relationship came about.
Well, I'll say this. I said, as far as taking lessons from you, I've definitely applied very much of the stuff that you've taught me, which actually helped me get jobs. So, and it saved my butt on a few jobs too. Going, wow, man, I can't believe this is what Les taught me, and this is how I got my gig. So.
Oh man.
So I mean, you've helped me. I mean, I'm 53 now. You were teaching me when I was 18.
Oh my God.
And, so 35 years of Los Angeles. I mean, it's a burning city, man. I mean, literally, unfortunately. But not to be funny, but yeah. I mean, I miss it. Being back in Chicago now. I mean, I don't know anybody here, so I'm kind of new to this scene. And Mark Evangelist is, one of the few guys that I know here back in Chicago. So But yeah, dude, I mean, you've helped me so much through my life, and I still use a lot of stuff that you've taught me.
Thank you, Mike.
So, and I've hybrid some of it too, though. So, I've become, with what you've taught me, I've taken it, and which, you need to tell your students that too, that, you can take your stuff and change it, and kind of, hybrid it, and that's what I did because, I play a lot of styles. So it's, I've taken your technique and kind of taken it into my own realm,
That's what it's about. That's beautiful. That's the greatest compliment a teacher can get. I mean, if we all idolized our teachers and we played just like them, there wouldn't be the individuality that happens, But the cool thing about the drummers, more than any other instruments, like you can take something that you'll learn from me. I take something I learned from my teacher, Bob Livingston, and all the other people that I've got to know and meet. And I always ask questions too, because drummers can't be shy people. I mean, our gig in the band, you have to have confidence in yourself as a person to be a drummer. So when I have a student like you, Mike, who takes the ball and runs with it, my teacher used to say, I'm going to give you the keys to the car, man. When you turn the car on, you drive it any way you want.
True, man.
You can go down any road you want, go as fast as you want, as slow as you want. You want to go south, go north, whatever. But use these techniques and enjoy the ride,
Yeah, you've always been my inspiration, Les. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. I can't tell you how great that feels now. Guys like yourself and so many others that are gone on to do great things. Do you guys know who Glenn Cochie is?
No.
Yeah.
He's a very, very kind of like eclectic drummer that actually taught Mike at Roselle Music also when he was very young, about the same age you were when you started with me, and he went on to be this like mega star. He's with a big rock group. I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of it.
It's Wilco, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's it. I'm sorry. And we hooked up at the Chicago Drum Show a few years ago, and man, I was just blown away. He came over, he hugged me, he wouldn't let me put me down. I said, "What are you doing, man?" He says, "I can't tell you, man. I'm using all your licks now." And he says, "I made millions of dollars." I said, "Really? Can you lend me two?" But it was cool. Is that Mark Evangelist up there?
Right. That is. Yep.
How are you doing?
Good to see.
Good. Did you just join us now, buddy?
No, I've been here the whole time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see. I've got my volume levels on screen, so I'm not seeing everyone. But another great drummer, guys, and a dear friend in the same period of time that we met Mike was Mark Evangelista. He's a great drummer, and now you're back in Chicago, right, Mark?
Back in Chicago as well.
And by the way, I am going to do the Chicago Drum Show in May. So
okay.
I'll be there with my own booth. Dave, are you going to be there, Dave Hakeem?
Possibly. I haven't planned yet.
It's a great show. I've been doing it every year for the about past 6, 7, maybe 10 years.
Wow.
And I fly in for it because Bonnie, we lived in Chicago at one point, but Bonnie has family there. But the cool thing is that like last year, the year before rather, Kenny Aronoff was at my booth all the time jamming. You know, Greg Bissonette would be there all the time when he was headlining. You know, all the guys, whoever the headliners are, most of the time we know each other for years. And because I have a booth where I'm teaching constantly the whole day, you know, right in my booth, you know. So it's
I'll be there.
Yeah, you'll be there, Mike. So we'll get to hang out. Maybe we'll get some dinner that night.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. All right. Well, are there any other questions, guys, before we say so long? Or...
Just one more, Les.
Yes, Mike.
Just wanted to say happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday.
We won't make you tell us how old you are, but I just didn't want to forget to say happy birthday, man.
Well, I will tell you. You know, I was thinking, if my birthday is actually November 4th, you know, but
okay.
But I don't know if you know this, Mike. Well, you know because you're invited. If you're in here, what we're going to do. Bonnie said to me about a week ago. She said, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" And I said, "You know, baby, what I'd rather do more than anything else." And she said, "What?" I said, "I want to play." So what we're going to do is we're setting up my whole jazz quartet right out here on my driveway. And we're making it a party for the entire neighborhood. We're anticipating at least 100 people. And they're going to be social distance on the various lawns we have around our house. You know, I'm sure somebody will videotape a little of it, so we'll put it on YouTube or Facebook, you know. But we're gonna play, you know. We're just gonna celebrate my life by giving it back to the people that make it all happen for us, you know. And a lot of the people that live in this neighborhood probably have never heard jazz, you know. They're gonna hear more notes in one bar than they have all their life. But it's gonna be swinging, it's gonna be cooking, and you know, all my students are invited, everybody, all of our dear friends in North Florida here, you know, and but it's actually on November 4th, but I'm going to do that on Sunday, November 1st. I want to get out of the way of the election, man. I didn't want to have any of that, you know, vibe. I just wanted to say, let's do it first, and then that way we can hang in, you know, because it's going to be an intense week that week, you know. But anyway, not to go there, but I just said we'll do it on the Sunday because Sunday's actually a better day. You know, more people are off on Sunday, and we're going to have lawn chairs out here. The weather's still beautiful, by the way. It's like 80 degrees out there today, you know. So it's going to be cool, you know. But thank you, Mike, for acknowledging my birthday, man. Yeah.
I guess I thought it was tomorrow that your party was.
No.
The party was tomorrow, but it's next week, next Sunday. Okay.
But I will confide in you that we're probably going to have a sign made, you know, for outside. And one of my this next title of a Buddy Rich album has my birth date in it. He did an album called The Roar of '74.
Oh well. Okay. We gave you the opportunity not to tell us, Les, but you're a good guy.
But you know what? I'm so proud of it, man, because like, you know, when I've been doing a lot of cruise contracts the past 10 years. And when I take out guys on these contracts, we audition piano players and bass players from all over the world. My new band is a 23-year-old piano player from FSU. And I've got a 30-year-old bass player from Canada. And we play 3 shows a night, 6 nights a week for 4 months straight. In a concert. We headline in our own jazz room. It's called Jazz on 4 on the Harmony of the Seas. And these guys at the end of the gig, I'll say, "You want to go down to the crew bar and have a glass of wine?" And the piano player say, "Man, I'm tired. I got to get some sleep." And I'm burning those cats out yet. If I'm doing that, man, at 74, I'm kicking some ass. So I got to thank John Gill, and real quick, John Gill was, ladies and guys rather, is the person that really hooked this all up. And John, tell them our history. You're a student from it, how we met and all that.
Yeah, I was living in Long Island at the time, and I was like a rat in the Long Island Drum Center down there all the time, and I was studying there. And Les when he would come into town, and we would hook up for a lesson. And then I would get a phone call or I get an invite from him. "Hey, I'm playing down at Sonny's place," which is a jazz place in Seaford, probably about maybe 10 minutes from there. So Les would invite me down, and I would come in after some wedding gigs in a tuxedo. He made me feel like I was a celebrity, which was really funny. Sits me down. One night I'm sitting there with Joe Morello. The next night I'm down there. Billy Eckstein is next to me. I'm saying, man, who is this cat? He knows everybody, you know? So I took some lessons with him, and we hooked up a while back on, Les I did another drum clinic, and I asked him, begged him, please let me come into the clinic. And we've been communicating back and forth and put this together, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if Les is willing, we'll be doing it again.
Awesome job, John.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
John.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks a lot.
In closing, Dave Hakeem, I got to tell you, I'm so honored that you're here today with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I mean,
Yeah, what an honor.
Yeah, Dave, tell them a little bit about what we have in mind to do with the book.
oh, we have many projects that we're doing. You know, stylistic approach. I mean, play along, student teacher concepts. Just some really timeless content that I think generations to come, it's still going to be just incredible from an educational, entertainment standpoint. I mean, it's real exciting, the things that we're working on. And it's only because of you and everything that you've done that now it's just, you know, I'm honored to be doing it with you. And that's why I really pushed to make sure that this would happen.
Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you.
And one of these times, Dave, we got to work out something when we have our jazz festival here in October. We have to bring you and Dave Frangione up, you know, and we'll party and play together.
That'd be great. That'd be beautiful.
Make it a modern drum clinic. We'll, you know, do it together and bring in some of the guys. The only guy I don't want to invite is Carmine Appice, man. Don't
It's Vinny Appice. Carmine Appice.
Yeah, we'll make Vinny wear a mustache.
Beautiful, guys.
And we'll call him Carmine.
Yeah. That was so classic. I don't know if you were here, but Carmine popped in, but I never did see him on the screen because he was having his hair done someplace, you know.
Yeah.
That's so Hollywood, man. That's like, you know. Anyway, I had a ball, guys, and thank you so much for coming in today and you know, sharing the hour and a half with me, man. I just had a great time. And spread the word about my teaching, please, and want to get some more people going online, and I'm going to work really hard with Modern Drummer to get a whole bunch of new material out there for everybody to work on, and I'm very excited about that.
So I'd like to thank you, Les, too, for doing this clinic for us.
Absolutely.
It's enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Les.
Great meeting all you guys.
You too.
You
All
too,
right.
yep.
We'll see.
Bye-bye.
See you, Les.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you
Bye.
very much,
See you
Les.
next time,
Thank you
all right?
very much.
Okay.
Very much. It was very enjoyable.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Have a
Thanks,
good
Les.
weekend. Rest of the weekend, folks. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Great job, John.
Thanks a lot, Bobby. I'm just going to stop the recording here.
Oh, yeah.
I got to find out where that is.
Yeah, 'cause I just stopped
okay,
mine.
got it.
Good. I'll